Hey there, good morning, real estate world. John Moss for General Property Management right here in good old Eau Claire, Wisconsin. So my last video I did, I talked about new case law in Wisconsin regarding leases being void. And that was from the decision from the Court of Appeals for Coble Investments versus Alicia Marquardt. And I was asked what makes a lease void and unenforceable. And there are 10 deadly sins. There are 10 things that are clearly stated right in the Wisconsin statute. So I'm going to paraphrase this from Wisconsin chapter 704.44 and give you what I think these things mean to me as a landlord and property manager that you cannot have in your lease, or opposite, your lease must have also. So residential rental agreement that contains certain provisions is void is the title of this. And number one, so if a tenant calls the authorities like the health department, police, some government agency, it doesn't. If your lease says that it gives the landlord automatic right to increase rent, decrease services, or bring some sort of action like a legal action for eviction for getting out of the premises because you can't do this, your lease is void. Number two, um, authorizes eviction from any other way other than legal proceedings. Number three, accelerates rent payments in the case of a default of a tenant or breach of contract, and waives the landlord's, or I should say, or waives landlord's obligation to mitigate damages. Uh, Four, the tenant must pay the attorney's fees of the landlord. Five, authorizes that the landlord must confess judgment in a case against the tenant. Six, landlord is not liable for property damage or personal injury due to negligence or omission of the landlord. Seven, imposes liability on the tenant for personal injury because of uh, things beyond the control of the tenant, or property damages caused by natural disasters. So a tornado blows the house down, you can't say, hey, Mr. Tenant, or Mrs. Tenant, Mr. Mrs. Tenant, you owe me a new house because a tornado took the house away. You can't say anything about waiving the landlord's obligation to provide the house in habitable condition. 9, allows a landlord to terminate based on the commission of a crime. And number 10, the big one, your lease must have the notice of domestic abuse protections. It must have that language written right into it. So I guess look at your lease, read that statute. I'll put a link to that right in the email that I'm going to send this out with, so you can read it for yourself. Um, and if you're going to write anything into your lease, we all seem to like to write in extra things about just anything that would be particularly unique to that individual property. Um, Might be a really good idea to have an attorney read it to make sure it does not violate anything, because you want your lease to be tight, sound, and solid. Anyways, I'm John Moss for General Property Management right here in good old Eau Claire, Wisconsin. When we all do our own little part, the world is a better place. Thank you very much for watching.